I'm really excited about the discussion we're going to have. It's on spanning tree protocol operation and how spanning tree walks through the steps of finding the root bridge, finding the root ports, finding the designated ports, and then ultimately determining which ports are blocked within that topology. Let's identify the root bridge. What is the root bridge? It's that seed, the starting place of that spanning tree topology. It's where the rest of the spanning tree topology will grow from. If you get the root bridge wrong, the rest of the topology is wrong. So this is very important. You must start off by planting the seed in the right spot. So what do we want to do first? Let's find the root bridge in this topology. Now remember, the root bridge is going to be elected based on having the lowest bridge ID. Lowest bid. So let me, lowest bid, bridge ID. And what is that made up of? It's made up of a priority and a MAC address. But it's not looked at together. Priority is examined first, and if priority is a tied, then MAC address is examined. So lowest priority wins. If it's tied, then lowest MAC address wins. Now be careful here. Be very, very careful. Because if you notice that out of 4 switches, 2 of them have a lower priority than the others. So then you start looking at MAC addresses. Do not look at the MAC addresses of all 4 switches. No. Only look at the MAC addresses that have the lowest tied priorities. Because those other 2 switches are now out of the race. They can't be elected because their priority was too high to begin with compared to the other 2 switches. So don't fall into the trap of saying, all right, so priority was tied. Now, based on all the switches, let's start looking at MAC addresses. That would only be true if the priority was tied amongst all the switches. Then you'd have to compare the MAC address of all the switches. So be careful there. As you're breaking ties, you're only breaking the tie for those that were tied with the lowest value. So let's examine this right now. Priority. Who has the lowest priority? Well, when I examine this right here, I see 32,768, 32,768, 32,768, 32,768. It's tied amongst all 4 of them. So now we have to break the tie with the MAC address. So let's start examining the MAC addresses. They all start off with zeros from left to right. I see that right there, right there, right there, right there. They all appear to have a bunch of 1s after that. So far, we have all ties. And then I'm starting to see a difference. And that difference is right here. We have a 1, we have a 2, we have a 3, and we have a 4. 1 is the lowest. Remember, we're always dealing with lower is better. Lower is better, and ties are not acceptable. So here, I'm going with our switch on the left-hand side, upper left. This right here is going to be our root bridge. Our root bridge, because it has the lowest bridge ID.